Our next session, how to future-proof your interactive live video. Let's welcome to the stage Lawton Cheney from C Blue.
Thanks. Thanks, Will. Can you all hear me okay? Yeah? Cool. So, all right. Right. Well, thanks for coming. My name's Lawton Cheney, and I'm with a company called C Blue. We were founded in 2017, and we're domiciled in the Netherlands, and our team is in the Netherlands, Germany, and Spain. Little survey here. Who am I speaking with? Do you think about real-time delivery, WebRTC, sub 1 second? Are these things you guys think about, once a week, perhaps? Raise your hand. Yes? 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 Okay. So at least half of the folks here are here with a reason. And may have some interesting questions at the end, if you know what I mean. So, right. We're here. We have a booth. This is the first time we've ever had a booth at a conference. It's our coming out party. Welcome to America. We're just up the road a little bit in front of the big AT&T vehicle, and we'd love to have you come over if you need a bottle of water. If you want to talk WebRTC, you want to talk one-to-many, we can also give you a live video, show you how it works. We're just running off cellular connectivity here, but we can still, on the spot, make you see our real-time delivery in action. So that's me. So my name's Lawton. I'm an American fellow. I do live in Spain, and I've been in the cloud, bandwidth, and CDN world since 2008, and I've been with C Blue since 2019 when the founders invited me over, and it's been a pleasure. What I'm going to talk about here briefly, I don't think I'll even take up to 20 minutes presentation, is our approach to making things work in today's modern internet so that real-time works with large groups and over long distances and even in difficult geographies or difficult internet topographies. We're blessed here in North America and in a lot of Europe to have a really good infrastructure and have a lot of good cloud providers, but that's not always the case in other parts of the world. So our approach is not all about video protocol, though it's extremely important. We also come at this from a networking and a cloud optimization perspective. So it's really three pieces that make our technology work, three fundamentals. And part of that is actually perhaps the title of why I'm here. How do you make stuff work, and how are you going to make sure it works in the future? Well, the video world, as we all know, is always changing. There's always a new protocol, or maybe there's a new release that nobody announced, and you have to be ready for these things. And so you have to be compatible and be ready for the next thing, but you also have to make sure all the collection of protocols that people are already using are also available. And that's what we do on our platform. So let me cut to the chase here a little bit. We are using WebRTC usually as our primary delivery protocol to the viewing audience, but we have built in an ABR possibility with WebRTC, which can be rare, in that if the higher bit rate is not going to work for this individual watching, we can bring it down to a lower bit rate, which might be reaching the stability that's needed for that viewer. But on top of that, we have fallback. WebRTC is excellent for speed, but doesn't always perform in all situations. So we have fallbacks depending on the device that's being delivered to. It might be HLS, low latency HLS, Dash, MPEG-4, you name it. So that's part of what we provide, is the security to know that all viewers will get the best possible latency delivery. Most often WebRTC, but just in case, we've got other protocols for that individual that cannot receive the WebRTC. Another piece to what we're doing is we're not just a delivery group. We actually receive on ingest and do the transcoding. And that's a big part of why we're able to do what I just described before. So RTMP is not exactly the fastest protocol to send us your stream with, but we're happy to receive it because we have a protocol inclusive type perspective. We want to be able to handle as many different use cases as possible. But anyway, the faster ones, send us an SRT, send us a WebRTC, we'll receive it, we'll transcode it, we'll transrate it, and then from that, we're able to manage that package, if you will. And then we use our own transport protocol to get it to another node. That way the WebRTC is not susceptible to breakage, can be transported across the world, and then we fold it out on the POP that's closest to the viewer. So our transcoding is super fast, as it has to be, because we're doing real time. So it's 2 frames and you're transcoded in our system. The third piece that's key to why we think we've got something that's really working is that we're also maximizing the combination of geolocations of bare metal with cloud providers. So we have a baseline stability, both on the ingest and on the delivery side. But in case we get a real bursty, very popular event, we can, through various cloud providers, be elastic and receive many more ingests, and same side on the delivery. And for special use cases, of course, the cloud providers can sometimes provide us with some of the more exotic geographic locations where we might not have the servers. So that was a lot of talk for a few words. So why real time? What is real time? Well, we're calling real-time delivery a second or less. We're starting to say less than 500 milliseconds. Some people call this ultra-low latency. We're calling it real time. Because if you speak to different individuals here at the show, what low latency to them, it might be 10 seconds, it might be 5 seconds. That's why we're starting to use the term real time, and what we mean by that is under a second. Now, not everybody needs this. A lot of folks here are perfectly happy with their traditional big CDN that does a really great job of delivering what they need. And it might be with a latency of 15 seconds, and you know what? That's totally fine for their business model. It's good. But if, depending on your business model, you need something to be a bit faster. And these are some examples. There's some obvious verticals where we have clients. What do we have here? I don't have my glasses on. So we've got e-learning, corporate communication, right? Live auctions, sports gambling, for example, and also just viewing sports itself. These are all reasons, these are all businesses that their success will depend on to what degree will the viewer be happy to enjoy the content, but not only that, to be interactive. So there's a response. The CEO is giving a presentation and there's a Q&A session with all of the employees. Imagine. Well, you don't want to receive that question a minute later. You don't want to break the flow of that presentation. That's why that interactive bit in that situation is important. For sports gambling, the longer, the more amount of time that the betting agency is able to take a bet before the horse leaves the gate, for example, is just good business for the betting space. For e-learning, imagine you want to interact with your teacher who may be halfway around the world. You get back to that Q&A kind of situation where you need to keep the flow of the situation. Okay, I think that gives you a rough idea as to where we might be helpful. Here are a couple of our clients, actually. I didn't mention it, but e-shopping is another thing. There's a huge company in China, which some of you folks might have heard of, called Taobao. It's a real phenomenon in China. Well, we have a client called Fira that's doing that in Latin America. And so we're serving very large audiences in places like Colombia, Peru, and Argentina. And what it is somebody is presenting something for sale from a large department store, for example, and the audience is commenting on it, even asking questions, and there's an interaction with this person presenting. So again, it's a reason for why you want that real-time effect. And the challenge there, we're super proud of it, is that they don't have the internet topography that we're used to up here in North America or in Europe. And our stuff worked, and we were super pleased, and we've been working with them for over a year now. On the right side, we've got a German customer where you can have music concerts and you have an interactive audience. So there's a registration of all the claps. There's a registration of all the heart signs from the crowd live during session. That obviously took off during COVID times, and it's been quite successful. Okay. So this is kind of recapping what I've already talked about as to how we think you can get ready to do real time now, but going forward, things aren't going to change. What do you need to do? Well, WebRTC seems to be part of that solution. Some of the challenge is, how do you make it work? We think we've figured that out. But WebRTC is not always the answer. There might be a 0.5% chance or a 2% chance or 2% of your viewing audience that just will not be happy with that WebRTC. You need to have fallbacks. You need to have intelligence in your video stream to do that. We're staying protocol inclusive. We even receive old RTMP streams, or traditional RTMP streams, if you will, and we're going to continue that. We think that that is, well, 5 years from now, when we talk, will there be a new protocol that we should be accounting for? That's the way we think is going forward, to keep that attitude. Yeah. And that transcoding part that we have on the front end, so that you have control of the stream, you can build in the intelligence of the stream. Whoop, I've lost myself. Right. Well, it goes back to what we're doing. Fast transcoding, if you're going to do real-time delivery, and want to make sure you have good quality and intelligence. And controlling the end-to-end solution. That's what we're doing. So, what did I talk about in the beginning? I talked about 3 pieces that make up our approach. One was compatibility, in terms of WebRTC and all the other protocols, HLS, Dash, you name it. Second, I was talking about how we've got live transcoding and a smart delivery and intelligence in there to make sure that it's best case scenario per viewer. And the third piece is, what are you using to do that with? Are you building out servers and racks in fixed locations? Are you using partners to provide that for you? Are you buying it yourself? Are you putting everything in the cloud? Some people do that. They put it all in one cloud. One cloud. That's not what we do. We have 6 partners that provide us with bare metal and their connectivity, so that we're super redundant with various providers, various networks, if you will. And that, of course, provides a certain baseline. And it's also economically helpful to our bottom line as well. But on top of that, we also do work with 3 different cloud providers for burst, not one. Why do we do this? Well, reliability, redundancy. It's very important. And economically, it makes sense too, of course. We use the cloud when we need it. Cloud tends to be more expensive if you base it on a per time basis. But sometimes it's just the right way to go. So an important building block to our business model that also feeds back into the reliability of our stream is to have a portfolio of bare metal and a portfolio of cloud provision. I think that's pretty much it. The marketing guys put this here. I don't know how many folks know this. The typical, you can only get 2 out of 3, right? Well, the marketing guys at CBlue want you to think, well, and it's true, to a certain argument, that you get all 3 with us. You get the speed, you get the quality, and you get a decent price from us. So let's see, I've got some of my notes here. I can flip it also. Let's look at it in terms of protocols. Speed, that's WebRTC, right? Reliability, well, that's maybe an HLS. And the quality, well, we're helping provide that because we're giving the best and accounting for the best speed, the best quality possible per viewer. And that's what we're doing. So that's it. That's my quick little rundown of our approach. And we think this is going to be our approach 2 years from now, 5 years from now. It's our philosophy. It's our business model. Hopefully it's a little bit helpful to you folks in the world of ultra low latency. We'd love to receive a visit from you. We'd love to give you a demo if you have an interest. And that's it. Thank you very much for coming by.